When it look about the structure, chaitya, stupas and temples of any sacred place visualize the and demonstrate the characteristics of space as well as thought process of the religious as secular beings residing in that area. Nalanda as a sacred space developed in the age of Buddha and religious edifices evolved over the thousands of years show that its spatial context, regional peculiarities and echo of their aesthetic ideas which were developed and carried by inhabitant monks who travelled far and wide from Central Asia, China, Java, Sumatra, Tibet and Nepal. It is earliest evidence that zeroed in towards the northern black polished ware phase and underwent a great transformation since the Gupta period. The culmination could be traced in the Pala period when Nalanda developed its own distinctive style of art and architecture as visible in the remains of the stupas, viharas and temples. The Chaitya number 3 lies in the southeast corner of the excavated Nalanda monastic complex. Though it has been recognized as a sacred complex, the Chaitya number 3, it has at least 3 more comparatively large site chaityas and temples along with some smaller temples and a number of votive stupas within the complex. The main chaitya has 7 successive layers of the development. Excavation suggests that the first level of structure belongs to the Mauryan period, that is 3rd century BCE, and the second to the Sunga in the 2nd century BCE, third to the Kusana in the 1st century BCE and 4th and 5th to the Gupta in the 4th-5th century Common Era, 6th to the Harsa in the 7th century and finally 7th to the Palas in the 8th and 9th century. Around 50 meters north of the Chaitya number 3, there is a huge mound of debris containing the remains of a temple. It is identified as temple number 12. Xuanzang says this temple is the temple of Baladitya, which resembles the gate temple of Mahabodhi at Bodh Gaya. The site was devastated in 1870s when Broadley, a subdivisional officer of Bihar, did a catastrophic excavation at Nalanda which almost vandalized the site and left it open to the villagers and treasure hunters to loot and plunder. In 1930-31, M.H. Qureshi cleared this mound and discovered the remains of the large shrine. The shrine exhibits 2 different levels of construction and second one has having a structure larger than the first. The entire length of the south front and a considerable portion of the west of the earlier structure have been uncovered. These are decorated throughout with projecting niches and pilasters of the different shapes, but upper layer of the facades of the shrine is plain and that belongs to the second structure. The temple and its sanctum were based on a square plan. The outer base is square and has a measurement of 52 to 50 meters. The first shrine was developed on a raised platform measuring 170 feet to 165 feet. The shrine chamber is 21 square feet. Temple number 13 has been made on same brick platform as temple number 12, but it is badly damaged. The outer wall of the temple in the north and south and east have been opened up. No flight of step has been traced, but the shrine was repaired many times at its scene. The corner shrine as visible are not found here. The central shrine is damaged, but lower portion of the colossal Buddha image seated on high pedestal is still traceable. Few broken votive stupas have been found in the north and south. Some branch and stone images have also been discovered. Around 100 yards from temple number 13, another shrine, that is temple number 14 of the same kind, has been found. The structure is not properly excavated, but remains of the structure suggest it was built in the Panchayatana style. The Jagati or Adhisthana was much evolved and the remains of the Garbhagriha with pillared mandapa could be visible. It had colossal image of the Buddha made of stucco. The pedestal with the remains of legs is still visible. The corner temple have not been discovered so far, but there is a strong possibility of their existence. The survey and excavation in the direction further north of this temple may yield more such kind of temples, chaityas in the future. Temple number 2 is not situated in the rows of the chaityas or temple in the eastern rows of the Mahavihara. It is situated on the northeast side near another great structure, Sarai Mount. It is unique and different from other temples as it was made of stone, and because of the use of stone, it is locally known as Pathar Ghati. This structure, like other temples of the Mahavihara, was developed in the Nagar style of the North India, and the raised square platform was developed as a Jagati or Adhisthana, measuring 118 feet into 102 feet. Its height is 3 feet 6 inches to 4 feet 3 inches. The sanctum or the Garbhagriha is 52 square feet from outside, and internal space is 18 square feet. The pillared mandap was raised connecting the Garbhagriha, which was preceded by a Mukhamandapa with a flight of steps in the east. The Pradakshina Path was well developed, and circular passes to make round by the pilgrimage is around 22 feet. The Shikhara might be like the temple of the Baladitya and the phase of Chaitya number 3. The Sarai Mound is another important structure located on the path of the main Nalanda monastic complex. In 1973-74, a 14th line Prashasti was discovered fixed on the site of a niche on plastered brick wall. It informs that Prashasti was inscribed by Madhava, son of Vamana, on the instruction of Durgadatta, a Sandhya Vigrahika. In 1975-76, the inscription was translated, and it informs that it was issued by King Purnavarman in 7th-8th century. It is in Sanskrit language and Devanagari script. Sarai Mount temple complex is measuring 31.70 meter to 22.70 meters. The entrance is flanked by 2 projecting arches, and it is covered with molded decorations, pilasters, niches and volute. The entrance is flanked by 2 projecting arches with molded decorations, pilasters, niches and paintings. In front of the temple, steep stupas of brick, stone inscribed images of the Buddha in Dharmachakra and Bhum Sparsha Mudra have been found. Nalanda also has a very efficient drainage system. The monasteries and religious edifices had well laid brick drains. These drains were connected to large outlets, oblique drains, and through these outlets used water was taken to the outside the monastic structure, probably in a larger pit or pond especially meant for this purpose. The remain of the drains and drainage system have been found during different stages of excavation of the monasteries and the chaityas. The discovery of a metallurgy lab near the temple number 13 corroborates the literary evidences that the monks of Nalanda were well trained in metal engineering. Their expertise, skills and innovations could be well exhibited in abundance of bronze sculptures found in the monasteries and in the Buddhist cultures across the Asia. Nalanda had a rich sculptural tradition made of stone, bronze and stucco. The reference of Xuanzang, Yixing show that Nalanda had a number of observatories for astronomical studies. They also had excellent time management techniques. Archaeological reports suggest Nalanda Mahavihara was subject to destruction by fire. It supports the literary evidence that Nalanda was burned down by Bakhtiyaruddin Khilji in 1230–36, when Tibetan monk Dhammaswami visited Magadha, he found Nalanda Mahavihara was still functioning, though deserted and damaged. He resided there for 6 months and vividly describes the eyewitness account and informed that Nalanda had once 7 temples, 14 large and 84 small viharas, and these were damaged by Muslims, and none was left to look after them or to patronize them. Only 2 viharas are in the serviceable condition. The boundary of Mahavihara was still existing with its eastern and western gates, which were decorated with paintings of Tara and other deities. Thousands of monks who were residing in these monasteries had fled away due to the fear of the Turks, but chief abbot of the Nalanda continued to reside and declined to flee. He was 90-year-old, and other 70 monks also receiving education when Dhammaswami was in the monastery, and these were patronized by the local king Buddhasena and a Brahmana disciple Jayadeva, who was resident of Odantapuri. Taranath also says that regular raids by the Turushkas massacred many learned monks. Nalanda, as a sacred structure, gives you a very important education system that was run and developed by Buddhists, especially the Mahayana. Though only part of its remains are excavated, but still these monastic remains of the chaityas, stupas and their drainage pattern, their laboratory gives that how ancient monastic system contributed to develop education, and that kind of education that was not only based for the religious purpose, but also meant to serve the largest interest of community. So, when you look into the Nalanda, it is not also a place of pilgrimage, it is not a place of tourist destination, but it is also a monument which inspires us that we are a great educator, and our institution serve the purpose to educate students from all parts of the world. It is an inspiration, it is a model for us and for future generations that how a university, how an institution impart education and develop a different kind of researches, not only for religion but also for large mass residing in this universe.